3, 2, 1. The Liga Tomorrow is back!
Let's go!
That's right, Caleb and myself bringing you some last-minute fantasy advice to help you win your matchups this weekend. Caleb, what's going on? How do you feel about going live?
Dude, going live, it's a little nerve-wracking, but definitely excited about it. And I'm glad we can do that. Glad YouTube has that to, really connect with the viewers more and get them information right when it happens.
For those that are not following us on YouTube, turn those notifications on, hit the damn bell. We are going live for you guys Tuesdays and Fridays during the regular season to keep up with all the news, information, and the last minute stuff that you need to help bring the W's in your fantasy season. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter. I'm at Alex_Kerp4489, Ash at FantasyLOT. Caleb, what's your Twitter handle?
Mine is Caleb LOTFF.
Also, listeners, we're going to put this podcast in your hands. We need your help. Share this podcast with your league mates, family, friends, the neighbor. I don't care if you have to steal their phone. Go onto YouTube, subscribe to the League of Tomorrow Fantasy Football Podcast. We appreciate all of it that you guys can do to help support this League of Tomorrow family. Let's get right down to business. Today's episode is going to be a good one, Caleb. Not only is it week 1, thank God football is back. Today, we're going to recap what a great game Thursday Night Football was. We're going to aim at those waiver targets. We're going to discuss a little Survivor football for those that play it. We're also going to break down Sunday's NFL games. Caleb, any last-minute thoughts before we break down Thursday Night Football?
My last minute thoughts are exactly, don't overhype one player from 1 week, because the people that do are the people that you can steal trades from. So
Speaking of stealing trades, there's a possibility you could steal a few from last night's Thursday Night Football game. Tampa Bay 31, Dallas Cowboys 29. What a thriller. What a way to kick off this 2021 season. Caleb, did you watch the game at all?
of course, how could I miss the season opener?
Besides the stats, did anything, stick out to catch your eye?
The one thing weird about the game, and I will say I think it's game script more, is they ran the ball through the air. Almost like the Steelers did last year. They were a lot of screens, a lot of behind the line of scrimmage throws thrown. And now a lot of people are probably freaking out about Ezekiel Elliott because of that. I just want to say that Bucks have one of the best rushing defenses out there. So that was more game script. This is something they've had all season, off season to plan for. This was more game script than freak out about Ezekiel Elliott.
Yeah, I think one of the toughest calls I had that I pulled the plug but then reconsidered is in a 12-team double-team league. I thought about sitting Ezekiel Elliott for Tyler Lockett, and then I reconsidered and played Elliott again. I wish I did not do that. Elliott struggled, 11 carries, 33 yards, averaged about 3 yards a carry. It was just a bad performance on this Dallas rushing game. It's like you said, they definitely moved the ball through the air as Dak Prescott threw the ball 58 times, connecting on 42 of them for 403 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. The big takeaway I noticed, Dak looked very healthy. He started a little slow, but once he got in the groove, that arm picked up, he looked a little strong. What'd you think about Dak?
Oh, my goodness. Our co-host thinks he's going to be the number 1 QB this year, and he looked like it. He really stepped in and played the same thing he did last year. The only concern I have, which isn't too big of a concern, is you could tell he was, not running as much. He was trying to not get hit for a large portion of the game. There was times he could have ran and didn't. But it's not something I'm scared about. He's just making sure he doesn't get hurt again. As he acclimates throughout the season, I'd expect even more of a rushing line from him.
That's very true. Dak, it looked hesitant at first, but as you saw, the more and more he started to play and the more and more football came back, the arm looked stronger. There was some more zip, some more confidence. What I did like to see was the confidence that Dak has in Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb. 16 targets for Cooper, 13, 139, and 2 touchdowns. I loved to see that, especially because he was going later than Lamb in NFL or in the fantasy drafts. CeeDee Lamb, 15 targets, 7 for 104 and 1. What did you see out of those two?
I kind of saw exactly what I expected this year. I mean, I was very high. I had them both inside my top 12. So for me, this isn't a surprising performance, especially because, Bucks defense against the ground is so good. So I expected them to air it out again and again. And they have such a bad defense, I'd expect to see more of that. But these are just two bona fide studs. That it really just shows how good of a when Amari was falling to the fourth round because of his injury, you could have got value, and they just look the part. They each are number one wide receivers, which you don't see that often.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be something to look at with this Dallas offense is who's going to get more of the targets. There could be CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper could both be top 10 wide receivers this year if they stay with this game plan and this passing attack. Who did not look like a wide receiver one was Mike Evans.
I
3
wasn't
catches
expecting them like that.
on 6 targets. Yes, exactly. He did not look like the guy that people were taking in the 3rd round. The guys that outperformed him, Godwin, 9 for 105 on 14 targets. I love to see that. Antonio Brown, 7 targets, 5 for 121. Touchdown for Brown, touchdown for Godwin, 2 for Rob Gronkowski, 8 receptions, 90 yards. Out of this passing game, what surprised you the most?
I mean, you kind of nailed it with the Gronk. Gronk surprised me getting 8 for 8, but that's game script. I don't see him getting that many receptions. I was expecting OJ Howard to be utilized a little bit more, but it's clearly Gronk and Gronk alone. Another thing is for Mike Evans, the people freaking out about him. If you were listening this offseason, I spoke about how last season he would have like 2 catches, 2 touchdowns, and that's really what salvaged his year. This is why I wasn't taking him there. But I'm not going to tell you to freak out and sell him now at an unreasonable price. My plan would be as soon as he does hit that 2 touchdown, 4 catch game, go out and get the value for him that you bought him for. But he's not someone you want to be rostering at that price. You want to be able to sell him for that 3rd round value. So wait till a good week and definitely once he has one, sell him. Because this is who Mike Evans is in this offense. I've been saying it all offseason, and that's why I have no stock.
Leading the way with this passing attack, this, 28-year-old Tom Brady, 32 of 50, 379 yards, 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. This guy looked good. He looked like he was in his 20s again. Just go away. You're just too good for this game. Go away.
Did you see the play where he goes, like, he's got the ball
Falling
back?
down?
The dude just slaps it and nothing. Tom Brady's like, no, I have arms of steel. I was like, that's not even humanly possible.
That and the throw where he was falling down where Fournette, it's just like, what? This dude is so, just go away. I'm
He
sick
looks
of
even
watching
better
him
than
play.
last year.
He looks incredible. He looks like he can do this for another 5 to 7 years, which I'm okay with. This rushing attack was not okay. Leonard Fournette, 9 for 32. Ronald Jones, 4 for 14 and a fumble. Antonio Brown, 1 for 6. Nothing really to brag about there. What surprised me was how much Gio Bernard did not play in this game.
That did not surprise me. I found him as I was actually surprised on analysis talking him up. I didn't see it when you had Leo killing it in the offseason catching. You have Rojo as that electric, faster back that can break the longer plays. I didn't see a role where Gio would succeed.
Mm-hmm. I mean, if you're still interested in this running, plan with this Bucks, excuse me, now would be a good time to probably go get Ronald Jones, if you're still behind him, this will probably be the cheapest you can get it because
I
they're
would
going to
think,
be inconsistent.
I would rather, go out if you want the running backs. I know everyone was high on Rojo, but Bruce Arians talked about how incredible Leo was in the catching game for some reason, but they really used him like that. He had 5 catches, so he's got that safe PPR floor for you,
Hmm.
and he can have that upside to give you, more even rushing yards. And I think he's going to be the main back there, at least for fantasy purposes.
Leonard Fournette, 7 targets, so you definitely want to see that in the backfield. Besides, maybe being a buy low candidate, is there anyone besides Zeke that you might be interested going to grab after this game?
Yeah,
Yes, I was surprised with that.
6 catches. Well, I said you guys were not. You guys were the Dalton Schultz side, you and Ash. Um, I really liked Blake Jarwin, last year, and I know he was injured, but he had 6 catches for like 48 yards.
Oh no, I'm sorry. You're thinking the other way around. Dalton Schultz had 6 for 45 on 6 targets. He was the starter. Blake Jarwin was not starting. He only had 4 targets in this game.
Oh, okay, yeah, I was thinking that backwards, but yeah, that's someone I'm interested in. I mean, I knew he threw a lot, but I expect Dallas to continuously throw a lot, and he did seem like a factor in this game for a tight end, and with the safe floor with that many, receptions. So that's someone I'm keeping an eye on. If I have a deep roster, I'll add.
For those that are expecting Thursday night football to go this way, don't. This is probably going to be the best Thursday night football game we have all season. I loved it. It made me more pumped for Sunday. So we're just gonna go and we're gonna move right on. Before we get going though, we are
Wait.
live.
Antonio Brown, we kind of just skipped over him, but I know everyone's freaking out
Mhm.
right now. People are going to be trading him for ridiculous value right now. I'm sad because I had him as my fantasy MVP and moved him last podcast, like a half an hour before the podcast started. I'm like, I'll take him out, but he deserves to be in there. But what's a fair value you thinking for him?
If you can get a Josh Jacobs for him, something like that, if you're in running back help, now might be the time to do it. The only problem that I have with this Bucks offense and this receiving core, they're going to be so inconsistent. It's going to be Brown. One week it's going to be Godwin. One week it's going to be Evans. It could have been Godwin this week. He had a big game, 14 targets. Just be aware that it's going to come and go. It's going to be high. It's going to be low. It's going to be very inconsistent for this offense.
That's why I'm with the sell now, and if you can get, and you probably can get a guy like Miles Sanders, Josh Jacobs, a Darrell Henderson after this week, if one of them doesn't perform incredible, you can easily pull off that trade, and that's something I'd be looking to do because of consistency. And running backs are so much more valuable.
Correct. Is there any last news on the Thursday night game, or do you want to kick it off with our
No,
news?
I'm ready to go now.
Again, we are live. If you are watching, thank you very much. Also, if you want to leave any questions, any comments, let us know below. We can see you. We will respond. We want to make this as friendly as possible with you guys. We are doing it for you. Speaking of NFL news, boy, do we have a bunch of injuries and a lot of questionable tags. I'm going to run through them. I want you to stop me and let's talk a little bit further on anyone you want to talk about. First, let's kick it off with the Giants. Kenny Gallaudet, limited Thursday, questionable for Sunday with the hamstring. I wouldn't worry about that too much. Um, Find out if he practices Thursday or today or Saturday. See what they do. Maybe you'll hear a little bit more news. Evan Ingram, calf, didn't practice Thursday. It's not looking good for Sunday. I believe he is already ruled out. Washington football team, Curtis Samuel, he left practice earlier in the week. As you saw today, he is now on the IR with a groin injury. It's nothing serious. It is the 3-game IR, not the 6-game IR, so keep a lookout for that. If he is on your waiver priorities, I wouldn't mind snatching him up for something cheap, maybe put him away for later in the year. Buffalo Bills, Emmanuel Sanders, questionable foot. He was limited his last few days of practice. If he doesn't go, Gabe Davis, Cole Beasley, I like a lot. I would definitely play them both in a flex play option. Gabe Davis more in deeper leagues. Cleveland Browns, Odell Beckham Jr., knee, limited in practice all week. Be careful on that. I'm hearing that he might not play. Josh Jacobs, personal and toe injury, limited on Thursday, limited on Friday. He's been missing all week, so just be careful with that. Kenyon Drake might be a good replacement there. Now let's get into some bigger names. Chargers, Austin Eckler. He sat out Wednesday's practice with a hamstring injury. This concerns me a bit because it could be the same hamstring injury that shortened the season in 2020. How concerned are you about his availability on Sunday? And if he doesn't play, are you Justin Jackson or Josh Kelly?
Definitely, I'll be on the Justin Jackson side of that. We've seen, when Josh Kelly had to come in when Austin Eckler was hurt last year, and it was not good. For Austin Eckler, even if he plays this week, I wouldn't have the highest expectations from him, but I don't know how much that helps people because you can't really bench him where you took him.
Correct. If you drafted him, you're playing him. That's the only hard part. Just, limit your expectations. It could be a disappointing game. That goes for this guy as well. New York Giants, Saquon Barkley, very limited in practice all week. He's still recovering from an ACL injury. They say he'll be active. I don't know how much. Any concern on Barkley? Is his role for Sunday's game against the Broncos in jeopardy? Is it the same situation? If you have him, you play him. Do you like Devontae Booker at all?
If Saquon Barkley, I've actually drafted Devontae Booker in multiple leagues because if he does not play, Booker's a must roll in my opinion. I mean, he'll pick out, as a flex play, you're definitely going to want to start him. So he's someone, you should be looking for on the waiver wires if you're hurting at running back or your flex position. But for Barkley, I'm concerned, but I did expect, first couple weeks for him to have to get acclimated. If he plays and doesn't get, a ton of touches, don't overthink it. He'll get more touches coming in the season when he gets acclimated and healthier.
The biggest blow on Thursday as the news went out and everyone went into almost panic mode. Gus Edwards, torn ACL, done for the year. We'll discuss some waiver fab segment, pickups in our waiver fab segment. So there are some names that might be interesting. Is there any injuries that I missed that you want to bring up? Probably not. I mean, I ran through it quickly, so just be careful with your questionable tags. Double check on Fridays and Saturdays. Have a backup plan, and just be prepared because week one is always fun. A lot of things can happen. We're going to go right into our waivers and fab segment. Is there anyone you have that you want to start this list off?
For waivers, shoot.
Obviously, this is for people that weren't drafted, that still might be available in your waiver wire. Take a look at them, and hey, you might get lucky because some of these could be a steal.
Yeah, so a couple guys I'm really just kind of watching for right now. We just brought him up for the Bills. Oh my gosh, sorry,
Gabe Davis.
Second, Gabe Davis. He's someone I've kind of drafted late. And even without the injury to Emmanuel Sanders, I still thought he was a great rookie year, having, over 700 yards and, a couple touchdowns. He had that the line you wanted for a rookie to break out the next season, and he's under one of the best young quarterbacks. So he's definitely a guy to keep an out for. So yeah, him. And another guy I wanted to keep an eye out for is Kendrick Bourne. I'm really not sure if it's going to be Nelson Aguilar as, the team's one, Jonnu Smith, or Kendrick Bourne. They're all not big names. So they're not really proven. So any of them could touchdowns like Cam Newton was. This is probably why Kendrick Bourne's on your waivers. I mean, he's definitely a guy to watch out for if you have that extra spot. Pick him up now. See how he does week one.
there's a few guys that I also like in since we're discussing wide receivers. This is going to be a deep one for maybe those deep leagues or late round. Trinity Benson, I want you to keep an eye on that. Wide receiver traded to the Detroit Lions. They have nobody. They cut Rashad Perriman. It's Tyrell Williams. It's Amon-Ra St. Brown. That's about it. He could sneak in, especially if one of them gets hurt. I wouldn't put much on him. Again, he's I wouldn't even bid on him. Just keep an eye out for him. If you want to put him on your bench and just see what happens, see what this target share looks like, that could be someone interesting that's catching my eye. I want to jump into running back because obviously the biggest
Hey,
one
real
is in.
quick, for some reason we cannot comment on the video. Someone messaged me.
I was commenting.
No, commenting on the video, our video.
Yeah, you
On
have to do
YouTube.
it. Yeah, yes, I was commenting on it.
No, I mean we literally cannot comment on our video. Like if someone watching wants to say something, they can't comment.
Oh, well, all right. Well, we will take a look at that as this goes on. We do want to be involved with you guys, so we will take a look at that. Again, this is our first live show. We're learning as we go, so we're going to do our best we can to put out the best content for you guys. Obviously, we talked about Justin Jackson, Josh Kelly. Keep a lookout for them. Don't put much fab on them. Out of the two, Justin Jackson, if you do put in a bid request. Yes?
Oh
Okay.
yes,
Oh,
for
yep.
sure. Justin Jackson. I'm not interested in Josh Kelly at all.
One I like that might be on your waiver wire, not for week 1, maybe more like week 3, week 4. Sneaky Wayne Gallman. Davis showed last season he started to wear down the more touches he got. So Gallman could be potentially more involved than we originally thought, and he's a great pass catching back. That one could be a steal too. I don't trust Mike Davis. I see them using Wayne Gallman a little bit more as soon as he starts to develop his role in this offense. So that could be another one as well. Is there anyone else in the running backs that you want to throw out there?
For running back waiver, yeah. Gosh darn it, I'm getting bad with name. Since Gus Bus is out, what?
Latavius Murray, Le'Veon Bell, Devonta Freeman, Tyson Williams.
Tyson Williams. That's the guy I will be targeting. You saw him on the preseason. I'm not sure if he can carry that 3 down back, but I know what the others are, capable of. And this is the guy I would like to take my shot on.
Yes, Ash, we do see your comments. We are trying to fix that and reply on yours as well. Since we're talking about that backfield, Latavius Murray is the one back that I'm trying to get. I did get him in a couple leagues today, overpaid for him in one. Out of the 4, he's the most one that I'm comfortable that could take this role and do what the Baltimore Ravens want a running back to do in that system. He averaged 4.5 yards per carry last year. He's a veteran. He's pretty damn good. He can pass block, and he's involved in the pass game. If you don't get Tyson Williams, don't panic. I love Latavius Murray. I can see him taking over that role.
Yeah, I agree.
Let's move on to, since we did wide receivers, let's move on to quarterbacks. Just be careful who's out there. Obviously, everyone has a starter already. Just a couple guys to pay attention to. I like Zach Wilson. Let's see what he does against Carolina. Trey Lance is practice somewhat last 2 days, so be careful with that. I love him if he takes over the role. Obviously, Justin Fields, if you can snag him up just to see what you have, I would do it. Other than that, it's more of a wait-and-see approach for quarterbacks. Defenses, if
Tua.
you are...
I like Tua as a
Tua, yes, Tua as well. I figured he was more drafted but if he is on your waiver wire...
I've seen him in waiver wires on almost all my leagues.
Yeah, if he's out there as well, take a snag. I'm approaching him like Wilson and Lance. Let's see what he can do first, and maybe it's a top 15 quarterback that you didn't know you had. Defenses, I like the Panthers versus the Jets. Rookie quarterback. They also play against Winston, who, if you don't know, loves to turn the ball over. So the Panthers are my sneaky wave and fab target for those that are questionable on who they want to be for the defense. Anyone else that we missed that you want to mention?
No, I think we got that.
Let's kick it off
Oh,
Let's
sorry.
go.
Real quick, if anyone, if we can, I don't know if we can post the comments now. I was trying to change it, but if we can, and you comment a question, we'll try to answer it live on air.
That's true. We can see your question at least. So if you do want any questions, any comments, any shout outs to those loved ones, we will let you know. We will put them on the air. But let's go to where everyone's really interested about Sunday game preview. How pumped are you
Let's
for Sunday?
go.
How pumped that this season's going. I'm stoked. I'm ready. I've already done my lineups. I'm going to go through them again probably tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday just to double check. Let's kick it off. Buffalo hosting Pittsburgh, 51 over under. Buffalo 5.5 point favorite. First off, who do you like in this game, Buffalo or Pittsburgh, straight up?
Oh, Buffalo.
I like Buffalo as well, as I'm a Buffalo Bills fan. Anyone in this game besides Josh Allen, Juju, Deontay, Claypool, anyone else that you willing to put in that lineup? Obviously, Najee Harris. If you had to play a Bills running back, are you?
No.
Tight
No,
end?
you put a gun to my head, and I'm not going to start either one of them. Hell, you could put a gun to my head, and I won't even roster one of them.
Well, let's not promote that stuff. But yes, I would not. If you have Singletary, if you have Moss, if you're desperate, I would probably play Singletary since Moss is coming back from a little injury. I mean, if you have to, I would play Singletary. Other than that, I would hold off and maybe not play any of the running backs besides Najee Harris in this game. Carolina, New York Jets in Carolina, 43 over under. Carolina 3.5 point favorite. Who do you like this game, Carolina or the Jets?
Oh, Carolina by far.
I like Carolina as well. Besides Christian McCaffrey, DJ Moore, who else do you like in this ball game?
Well, I mean, obviously, Roddy Anderson's a play, but besides the main guys, I want to look for Michael Carter. I want to see what he does. He wasn't someone I was drafting, but wasn't someone I'd probably start this week, even against a bad defense. But definitely a guy to keep your eye on to see if he actually gets that bell cow work.
We are doing a full season pick'em, a little competition within the three of us. Ash just posted that he is taking Buffalo and Carolina. For those that did not know, if I did not break it down, I'm sorry. Ash might be having a little one running around. So if you hit him up on Twitter, let him know that you're behind him. I'm hearing if it's a boy, Ash Jr., little Ashley should be running around sometime soon. Ashley Jr. running around sometime soon. Corey Davis, I like as well. Corey Davis, I want to see what this offense is going to look like. I want to see who's going to get the targets. Jamison Crowder is out for Sunday with COVID protocol, so that might bump up Elijah Moore a bit. Again, I don't think Elijah Moore is a flex play, so I want to wait to see what that happens first. You play DJ Moore, you play Robbie Anderson, you play Christian McCaffrey. I don't know, Tyler Kroft, are you that desperate that you're willing to play Tyler Kroft?
No, I think you can find a better waiver wire ad. I mean, there's little situations where I'd ever play him.
I'm definitely going to keep a close eye on this game. Like I said, I want to see what happens with this, who gets the targets, how good does Zach Wilson actually look. So this game's definitely going to intrigue my eye a bit. I actually kind of sneaky love it for DFS as well. So if you play DFS, maybe you could play Elijah Moore, Corey Davis. Might be a cheap stack as well. Revenge game narrative for Sam Darnold. But let's move on. Jacksonville going into Houston, 46 over under. Somehow, Jacksonville's a 2-point favorite. I mean, this game is just.
Somehow. Do you know who they're playing?
This game is just so ugly. I got
fighting for fantasy.
Yep. Caleb, I want you to talk about if you had to play anyone in this game, who would you play and why? I'll be right back.
Yeah. I would be playing Laviska Shenault because He had, electrifying season last year. People, have been really up on Jerry Jeudy and stuff, and he hasn't, Jerry Jeudy hasn't shown me any more than Laviska Shenault did last year. He looked great as a rookie, and that's someone I am excited to have as my wide receiver flex, role. I think you can roll him out against the Houston Texans, with pretty happily. I wouldn't mind him against this defense. I feel like he can score, and he'll get you a lot of yards against this horrible, horrible, horrible defense.
Who do you like here, Jacksonville or Houston?
Give me Jacksonville by a mile.
Ash as well is taking Jacksonville. He just came in with a little breaking news. It's going to be Ashton Joel is going to be the name. So we were hoping for Ashley Jr. Clearly, that didn't go well. So we're rooting for you. Yeah, at least Joel's in there. If you follow along with this podcast, you know the name Joel, what it means to this podcast. Please check back in our files and go back and listen. It's a pretty touching story, but we're here for everybody. Arizona going into Tennessee. I'm excited for this game. 51.5 over under. Tennessee, 2.5 point favorites. Who do you like this game?
Sorry, Tennessee or?
Tennessee, Arizona.
Oh, Tennessee for sure. I have Tennessee as a breakout this year. I really like the team in general. They're going to be a hard offense to stop, and they were never a bad defense. So I'll be taking them most weeks.
Obviously, play all the guns. Henry, Murray, A.J. Brown, Hopkins. Is there anyone you're interested besides those? Like, are you willing to play A.J. Green in a desperation play?
Nope. I'll start Rondell Moore over him.
That was my next question. Rondell Moore. We all know Ash is playing him in the number one receiving spot. Christian Kirk is kind of. I kind of want to see what role they have between the two. If you had to play Chase Edmonds, James Conner, who are you playing?
Oh, I'm playing Chase Edmonds by a mile. I don't find James Conner close to his category. Last year I was talking about how Chase Edmonds has all the ability to be a 3-down workhorse running back, even though they haven't used him. He wasn't drafted early, but he was out of a small college. So he was just explosive all the way through college with that bell cow work, but he's never really gotten it in the NFL, but he's always been sturdy and a good running back. I see much more upside for Chase Edmonds and less injury.
Yeah, I'm starting to come around with that. I still like James Conner. I want to be confident in the role that I assume he's going to be in, but I do want to wait. I do want to see what this is because Cliff Kingsbury, just to me, does not know how to run an offense. So I'm very interested to see what that happens. If you're willing to play a defense, I would not play either one of these. Over under is 51.5. It's probably going to be a high scoring game. I love this for DFS as well. This is one of the target games that I am going after. Anyone else that you want to touch up with this game, or is it just play your studs and just watch and enjoy?
But really watch out for, obviously the Titans side, it's set in stone pretty much on who. You can look at Anthony Ferguson and be like, maybe, but he is going to be the third target. The only thing I'm really looking for is who is that second target. I want to know who's that second target in Arizona.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see what it's going to look like with A.J. Brown as well and who gets the targets. I want to see if Julio is going to demand the role that he demanded in Atlanta. So that's curious in my eyes, so I definitely want to see that. Our next game, LA Chargers going into Washington, 44 over under. Chargers, 2.5 favorite. Who do you like this game? LA, Washington.
Oh man, I'll take the LA Chargers on this game, but not happily as a Raiders fan.
I think we missed last game as well. Do you like the Cardinals or the Titans?
Oh no, we didn't. I said Titans.
Okay, I said Titans as well. I think they're going to start 1-0. And this game, Chargers Washington. I'm sorry, I did cut you off.
Oh, you're good. No, I'll take the Chargers. They just, man, with Herbert just breaking out, Their defense, they drafted so many defensive players in the last 2 years. You expect them to be better. There is a chance that they don't take that leap, but they weren't a horrible defense last year. And I just love that offense all the way around from Keenan Allen, Mike Williams. I mean, the whole offense is explosive. So I'll take them.
I mean, I'm going out on a limb here. I've got the Chargers winning the division, so I'm going to pick them to start 1-0 against the Washington football team. We discussed a few of the waiver wires and the Austin Eckler injury. You're playing Keenan Allen. You're playing Terry McLaurin. On the Washington football team side, besides McLaurin, are you interested in any other pass catcher like Adam Humphries or Dynami Brown? Anyone, or you're just going to play?
No,
What's
I'm
that?
interested in, my opponents playing those two players. I actually have someone starting Adam Humphries, and I'm very excited. So I don't want anything to do with them. Adam Humphries, you know what he is. I can't get excited about it, and I can sure as hell never let them in my lineup.
You're playing Gibson. I love Gibson this year. I do want to see what his role in the passing game is. They're not just going to disappear J.D. McKissick, so I'm curious to see how many targets, how much he's used in the pass game role.
We already know. Like I said in the bold predictions, he's going to lead running backs and receiving yards. So let's go!
That would be very interesting, very fun to see, and a steal in mid to late second round picks that Gibson was going. On the other side of the ball, Jared Cook, interesting if you're desperate for tight end. I don't like Mike Williams, but if you had to play Mike Williams, he's a flex play option that I would play if I had to. This with Austin Eckler maybe missing this game or limited, I think that we're going to rely on Justin Herbert a bit more and this passing attack. Do you agree with that, or do you see this game going a different way?
No, they're definitely going to rely on. That's why, even if Justin Jackson's starting, I'm not the most excited on it because they're going to just pass the ball.
Yeah, we're going to go. Yeah, I mean, I definitely want to see what this is. Is Justin Herbert an actual quarterback that he looked in his rookie year, or was it just the rookie year hype and luck? I love Justin Herbert. I definitely want to see this offense fly, and I think they can. Next game, Philadelphia going into Atlanta, into the Dome, 47.5 over under. Atlanta, 4-point favorite. Who do you like this game, Washington or Philadelphia or Atlanta?
Oh,
Yeah.
That's a close one, though. I felt pretty sure about the other games. But I'll take Atlanta.
I'm going to go Atlanta as well. It's in the Dome. This Atlanta team has more weapons. Their defense is terrible. This is going to be a high-scoring game. So if you are comfortable playing Devonta Smith, Jalen Reagor, I would play them in the flex. They're going to put up points. They're going to have to because their defense is terrible. Play Miles Sanders. I'm not a fan of it, but you drafted him as a starter, so you're going to have to play him. What do you think about Jalen Hurts? Is he playable? Are you comfortable? What are you doing with Jalen Hurts?
I am ecstatic to play him in DFS, especially. Go get that boy. He ain't expensive. He's people are forgetting why we love him in fantasy. He's a Konami code QB. He's got both the rushing, he's got both the passing. He's going to put up against a terrible Atlanta defense great points. I wouldn't be surprised if he put up a 30-point performance. I mean, this is a guy that's borderline must start top 12 this week.
If you have Dallas Goedert, I would try to find another option for this week. Zach Ertz is getting more and more comfortable, more and more, settling into staying in Philadelphia. I think they're going to use both of them. I don't know who. It would not surprise me if Zach Ertz, one, leads this team in receiving, could lead the NFL in tight end receiving as well, because they don't have anyone else. So be aware of Dallas Goedert, Zach Ertz. On the other end of the football, on Atlanta, you're playing Matt Ryan, you're playing Calvin Ridley, you're sitting Kyle Pitts. I just wanted to do that for Ash. You're playing Kyle Pitts. I wouldn't be comfortable with it because I don't know. I don't like playing rookie tight ends. But if you drafted him high enough, you're playing him, it could work out. I mean, this passing games is just Calvin Ridley, Kyle Pitts. Do you like Russell Gage? If you have him, are you playing him in your flex?
Um, I mean, this isn't a bad week to play him. I don't have him in mini leagues because he was going pretty, around guys I liked, like Mooney. But it's not a bad matchup to play him against. I expect Philly to put up points, and I expect Matt Ryan to react. And his number two option is going to be Russell Gage. I know all the hype's for Kyle Pitts, but the number two option will still be Russell Gage. Don't expect huge performance, but a really good floor on this guy.
Just be aware that the coach coming over is the coach that was in Tennessee. Going brain fart on his name. They ran a lot of two tight end sets, so don't be surprised if you see Hayden Hurst getting more targets and more catches than you'd like. This is a team weak on wide receivers, so they're going to use as much as they can. Mike Davis is a start. If you have him, just be careful. Like I said, I like Wayne Gallman more than people think. I'm playing Pitts. I'm playing Ridley. I'm playing Matt Ryan. Is there anyone else you want to talk about in this game?
No, no. Quez Watkins is an interesting watch, actually. He's, been practicing with the ones. You have, a rookie with Devontae Smith, supposed to be the target leader as a rookie. Then you have Rager, who's unproven. So you just have unproven guys. So to watch Quez Watkins as, just watch him for the waivers, maybe pick him up if you have an extra spot just to see. But he's definitely a guy worth the stash. He could come out and be the leading receiver for this team, and that's something I'm looking for with waiver wire targets is who's the leader.
It's if you can get in there waiver wire and you think they're gonna be out there for targets, like go and get them, take a shot. Who do they have? Rager, Free or Smith. That's all they got. So let's see who you have in Quez. Hey, it might pay off. Don't spend a lot on him. You don't need him, but it's definitely someone to keep an eye out because he's getting a lot more hype than I originally thought he would. We both liked Atlanta that game, so we're going to go there. Next, Seattle going into Indianapolis at 52 over under. Indy 2-point favorite. Who do you like this ball game?
Oh, I like Seattle. I didn't know Indy was actually a 2-point favorite. That kind of surprises me with the injuries they were riddled with very early. I mean, Wentz in their center is not getting a lot of practice lately, so that's surprising to me. But yeah, Seahawks. Let's go. Did you mute yourself, silly? You're muted. No, you're muted.
I'm sorry. I will go with Seattle as well. I just like this team. I don't trust Indy yet. We will get on the Indy side, but let's start with Seattle. You're playing Russ, you're playing Metcalf, you're playing Lockett, you're playing Carson. If you had to play a tight end, are you playing Gerald Everett?
I am not playing Gerald Everett. Actually, kind of crazy stat. The Colts from last year was the second best defense against tight ends, allowing like 130 total yards throughout the season. That's ridiculous. So that is not a tight end I'm going to. I get it. Don't play for last year. Defenses change very quickly. But Colts have always been a pretty solid defense. And I don't expect that to change. And his first game, it might take some acclimation. Probably Everett's going to get dropped really soon because he still needs to be acclimated. And they have two receivers already there. So he's by far the third target. And, just not a good start. I'm not looking to play any tight end from this game.
I agree with that. I would wait to see on Everett. I mean, if you have to play him, I think this is going to be a passing game for the Seattle Seahawks. So I would be okay playing him, but I agree with you. I want to see what his target share is going to look like. They do like to use their tight ends, especially in the red zone and closer or getting to the red zone. So I'm interested in that. He could definitely be a sneaky late tight end if you built in that Gerald Everett hype and going with him. On the Indy side, I'm not playing anybody. Obviously, you're playing Jonathan Taylor. I'm not playing Wentz. I'm not playing Campbell. I'm not playing Pittman. I want to wait and see what this offense is going to look like. Are you? What about you? Are you playing anyone on the Colts
No,
side?
but I like how you bring that up. I didn't bring it up on the waiver wire segment, but I have seen Paris Campbell open in some waiver wires. Like, I don't see a big difference between Pittman and Campbell. Either one of them could take the role for this, team. Pittman's being drafted, in the 10th round. So why not use that waiver wire for Paris Campbell? And if something happens in the first couple weeks, good job. You got a wide receiver 2-3. If not, oh well, drop him. I mean, he's definitely a guy I'm watching for.
Correct. T.Y. Hilton on the IR with a back injury, so this wide receiving core is open for business. I mean, Campbell could jump in, Pittman could jump in. Are you playing Mo Alley Cox because Carson Wentz loves to target tight ends?
In a desperation play or a DFS play. I wouldn't mind a DFS play, and you get, a couple touchdowns for cheap off of him. But he's not a high target guy. He never has been. I get Carson Wentz targets his tight ends a lot, but that can funnel up. Where in this offense where you have Nyheim Hines and Jonathan Taylor, they can definitely eat away those tight end targets. So yeah, just
agree with all that.
Definitely not top 12 worthy.
I agree with everything you just said. It's like I said, I want to wait. It's not even wait and see. I just don't trust the Colts. I don't trust Wentz. He's not even 100% fully healthy, so there's a chance he could not even finish this game. And if that's the case, I don't like Jonathan Taylor even more so. But again, you drafted him, you're playing him. I'm just not comfortable with it. Minnesota going into Cincinnati, 47 over under, 2.5-point favorite for Minnesota. Who do you like this game?
Minnesota
Minnesota, Cincinnati.
Oh, that game. Yeah, I mean, that's an easy one. Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah, Minnesota for me as well. This will be a fun
game to watch. I'm actually ecstatic for this one. But yeah, I'll let you get to the next point.
Let's start with the Minnesota side. Obviously, the ones you're starting. Cousins, if you drafted him late and you did the late quarterback approach. Thielen, Justin Jefferson, you're definitely starting them. Dalvin Cook, maybe. But any tight end, like Irv Smith is out. Are you playing Chris Herndon at all? Do you like anyone that is playing for that tight ends for the Vikings?
Negative. Try to ride the whip.
I don't like anyone there as well. Dalvin Cook should crush this game. Something to be aware about. I'm very comfortable with Thielen this week as well. The Bengals lost another cornerback, so they're going to be more in man-to-man, and Thielen loves man-to-man. I love Thielen a lot. I love Thielen more than Jefferson this week. So if you have Adam Thielen and you're hesitant, don't be. I love Adam Thielen this week. Dalvin Cook's going to be normal. He'll be a top 3 running back this week. Obviously, that one's easy as well. Is there anything else on the Vikings side, or do you want to jump over to the Bengals?
No, I got a lot to talk about on that Bengals side, though.
Then start us off. What do you have on the Cincinnati Bengals?
Okay, so this is kind of hard to say because Vikings are actually a pretty damn good defense. So I was never drafting Tyler Boyd, and I'm sure as heck not playing him this week. Jamar Chase should not be played this week against this defense, acclimating as a rookie. And even someone that I was drafting at the end of the 5th round, or middle of the 5th round, I'm scared to start T. Higgins with this defense. I mean, I don't really feel like you're going to get any upside. Don't start, the quarterback, Joe Burrow. I'm sketched about all these wide receivers, but I would like to see who is getting these targets funneled to. I expect Boyd to stay more or less the same, as in someone you're not excited to play. But between T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, is Jamar Chase really going to, over succeed him in T. Higgins in targets? I don't think so, because T. Higgins is already proven. And Jamar Chase has been having problems. So I'm not starting any of them, but definitely a little.
I would be okay starting Higgins. I mean, you drafted him as probably a wide receiver too, so I'm fine with that. If you need a deep flex play, I would play Tyler Boyd. This team's going to be behind. They're going to have to put up points. Like I said, it's a 47 over under, which is pretty high for the NFL. So it's going to be a high scoring affair. If you need to play Joe Burrow, I would, but I wouldn't be comfortable with it. It is still a bad O-line. They did improve a little bit, but his first game back from an ACL injury, so worry about that a bit. I love Joe Mixon. Play him. I can see top 7 running back this week. I would not play Jamar Chase. I'm with you as well. I wasn't on the Jamar Chase hype. I wasn't taking him in the 5th round. I'm going to wait to see. I don't like the reports coming out of that camp on why he's dropping the football. I do like the chemistry between Higgins and Boyd, so I'm okay playing them for sure. Anything else you want to add about this?
No, I mean, no, I'm not really fancy on their tight end. He did good last year, so he is someone to watch. Maybe, break into that top 8 tight end range, but I'm not seeing it.
Yeah, I do like Minnesota's defense. If you're playing that, they're gonna be up. They're gonna try to rush that weak O-line, so you could get sacks, force fumbles. You might even put Burrow in some pressure and making some mistakes.
Yeah, and he can't rush really right now either. He's pretty limited with his injury.
Correct. We're going to end our 1 o'clock slate. San Francisco 49ers, Detroit Lions. This is in Detroit, 47 over under. The 49ers, a 7-point favorite. I think this is pretty simple for us. We're all going to go the 49ers.
Yeah, Detroit.
We will also be breaking. You're going Detroit?
No, hell no.
Oh. You got me there for a second. We do have a Survivor segment that we will be approaching on Fridays. So after we do the team breakdowns, we will give our Survivor picks. So keep a lookout for that if you are into that. I know Ash and myself are in a big Survivor league. But San Francisco, Detroit, let's start with the 49ers. Are you playing Jimmy G?
No, absolutely not. That wasn't even a thought that crossed my brain. I'm surprised you asked.
Are you playing Debo and Brandon Ayuk?
I'm playing Debo and Brandon Ayuk with confidence, actually. I'm in a league where, funny enough, I have T. Higgins that I drafted far earlier than Debo. Guess who I'm starting as my flex?
I'm glad you said that because I'm the complete opposite. I'm playing Debo. I'm sitting Brandon Ayuk. He's not 100% healthy. He was limited in practice. I don't see that they're going to even need to throw this ball. Mostert, start. He's going to go off. Trey Sermon, if you're desperate, I would play him because as everyone sees, Kyle Shanahan loves to use 2 running backs, 3 running backs. So I would definitely play both of them. I would play Mostert for sure. I would be hesitant on Sermon. I love George Kittle this game. I can see him going off. I can see him being the highest scoring tight end this week. That's including Rob Gronk's big game on Thursday. Is there anyone else on this 49ers team that you're playing?
No, you covered through Trey Sermon, Raheem Mostert. That's not, those are both plays this week. I mean, so you covered it all.
Now let's go to the Lions. Ooh. I'd be hesitant on all of them. If you had to play a wide receiver, who are you playing?
Tyrell Williams.
I was about to say, is it Tyrell Williams? He's the only one.
He's someone I'm watching in the waiver wires too. I mean, I have a little interest. He was good when he was healthy. His problem has always been health, but he's always been a good, viable wide receiver too.
Yeah, when he's been on the field, he's definitely trustworthy. It's like you said, he puts up 9-10 points a game. He's wide receiver 2 caliber. I would play him in my flex if I had him. I would even play him as a wide receiver 3 if I had a couple guys I was shaky about. I might even play him over Brandon Ayuk. Like I said, he's a little questionable, limited in practice. I don't think they're going to need the passing attack. Detroit is definitely going to. TJ Hawkinson, lock and load. He's the only weapon I'm comfortable with.
Did you say Hawk and load?
Hawkinson, lock and load.
Oh, I thought you said Hawk.
No,
I like that better. Hawk and
load, even because that's what he's going to get. He's going to get a load of targets if he can stay healthy. So I don't mind that. Hawk and load it. Put him in your tight end spot. Be comfortable with it. DeAndre Swift, are you playing him?
I'm playing him. I get there's a concern with the health and all, but send that guy out. He's a freaking stud. Look how many passing yards he got last year. He's going to even do better this year with the late start than last year. We saw the reception work. I get it. He is a little banged up. Jamal Williams might get some touches, but he's still one of the only not just a good receiver, but there's not a lot of good players. So they're going to try to get this guy involved.
I have the opportunity to sit Swift this week. I have 4 running backs because I got lucky with James Robinson. I am playing James Robinson over DeAndre Swift. I am going to sit Swift.
I would be doing the same.
Just be careful with Swift. I can see him leading running backs in passing yards this year just because they're going to be behind in football games. Him and Jamal Williams will play a role in this offense. It's more just if you have them, play them if you're comfortable. If you have the opportunity to sit them, I would, because that injury scare worries me. Breaking news, Ash is taking Detroit. So I think he's having some of the meds that his wife is having in labor.
Yeah. What is wrong with this?
Yeah, I don't know. He's taking Detroit. Something's up with him.
Dude, it's that whole birth process is getting my head all shaky.
Let's jump into the 4 o'clock games. This one, the highest total on the day. Cleveland going into Kansas City, going into Arrowhead, 53.5 over under. Kansas City, 6-point favorites. Who do you like in this game? Playoff rematch.
That one's not hard for me.
It's Kansas City.
Yeah.
It's Kansas City.
God, dude, I hate my division. Why do I have to pick them as winners?
That's right.
Sucks.
Kansas City is going to win this game for me as well. Let's start with the visiting team, the Cleveland Browns. Besides Chubb and maybe Landry as a wide receiver 2 flex play, are you playing anyone in this passing game?
Not exactly playing him, but keep an eye out for Donald's People-Jones. He was a second-round pick last year with Odell's injury. I was saying keep an eye on him before that. Now you don't have a bona fide one. Jarvis Landry is just a good, steady wide receiver, too. Keep an eye out for this guy. He could do great things in this offense. I see them, they are going to play catch up, but I just don't have that confidence in Kareem Hunt this week. You're muted.
Now, I was going to mention Kareem Hunt. Would you play Kareem Hunt in the flex?
No.
No? I'm with you as well. Odell, the injury does scare me. I mean, when he's on the field and when he's healthy, he still might be a top receiver in this league. I don't really know anymore. Other than that, I would play Hooper. I would play people in this passing game. I would play the tight end. Pretty much Landry, Chubb, Hunt if you have to, and then Hooper on the Browns side. Let's go with Kansas City, just playing them all.
Yeah.
If you had to pick a wide receiver 2, is it Demarcus Robinson? Who do you like in wide receiver 2 for the Chiefs?
Yeah, that's funny to say. I don't have any high expectations for Demarcus Robinson. But on the other end of that, Mecole Hardman, I'm still interested, man. I still kind of want him in my bench. I don't know why. Don't know what possesses me.
Is he a desperate flex play in your eyes?
He is definitely a desperate flex. Gosh darn it, why? I feel like this is Sammy Watkins all over again. Why?
Yeah, I've got that same vibe. You're playing Kelsey. You're playing CEH. Those are pretty obvious. There's really nothing much to say on this game. Just enjoy it. It's going to be a high-scoring game. Miami, going into New England, going into Foxborough, 45 over-under, 2.5-point favorite for New England. Who do you like this game?
Well, I'll take this. I can barely say it. I'll take Miami.
I'm going to take New England here.
Is that our first difference?
I think so. Besides Ash taking Detroit, there might be one earlier.
I think we
I
went
don't.
all the
I
same.
think we are pretty consistent so far. So yes, this is going to figure out so far. This is a week breaker for me and you. I am going New England. You are going Miami. On this Miami side, if you have to play Tua, I would. If you did that late round QB approach, I'm
No,
very
not even
comfortable
in
with
two
Tua.
QB, dude.
Well, I
That
mean,
Patriots defense is someone I've been drafting. Again, don't forget how many people they had opt out for COVID last year. They are going to be an incredible defense. Think about 2 years ago when they had all those players. They were the number one defense by far.
I understand that, but Stephon Gilmore's on the PUP list. I don't trust J.C. Jackson as the number one cornerback there. I do think they are going to have to throw the ball to keep up. And I mean, I would play Gaskin. You drafted him. He's definitely a running back two in my eyes this week. I would play Waddle. I would play Parker. Obviously, you can't play Fuller. Is there anyone else on this offense that you would play?
I'd like to just revert everything you said and say bench them all.
I mean, if you're desperate and you had to play them, I wouldn't mind them in as a
Yeah, but
flex.
you're saying as a running back too. That's not necessarily desperate at this point of the season.
No, no, I'm more Waddle and Parker's desperate. Gaskin, I'm playing. He's going to be wide receiver or running back two this week, so I'm not worried about that at all. So I'm assuming you don't like Miami's side of the ball here.
Now,
Is there
I'm
anyone?
not ecstatic on it. I think you're limited against this Patriots defense.
I would definitely play Mike Gesicki if you have him. Tua and Gesicki had a great chemistry throughout all last year. I can see him getting 8 and 9 catches on 10, 11 targets.
I'll
That
get
one,
behind
it's,
Gesicki.
that one wouldn't surprise me at all. On the New England side of the ball, who are you? Who do you have your eye on?
A little bit in best ball leagues and very deep leagues, but Nelson Aguilar. I wish the Raiders would have kept him, but they didn't. Um, he was definitely a receiver. I thought with his new opportunity and God, excuse me. Johnny Smith, he's another guy. Keep your eye out on him. I think he could be an actual breakout tight end to finish in that top five.
You're playing Damian Harris. I like him as well as a running back two this week.
Yeah, I'm playing Damian
You
Harris.
like Nelson Aguilar. I like Jacoby Myers. I would play Jacoby Myers in this matchup. I want to see the connection. I want to see who Mac Jones is going to approach more. Nelson Aguilar to me is more of the deep kind of guy, as I'm a more of a Jacoby Myers, move the chains. That's going to be interesting. I would play Jacoby Myers this week. Nelson Aguilar is a desperate flex play. My eyes. I'm playing New England's defense. It's just like you said that they're getting a lot of their COVID-19 holdouts back, so that's going to be interesting. Like I said, Stephon Gilmore's not playing, so maybe Miami's passing offense might be a little more sneaky as people think. Denver going into New Jersey to play the New York Giants. 43 over under. The Giants, wait a minute, they're -1? How is that possible? The Giants are a home favorite? Who do you like this game, Denver or the Giants?
I'm still shocked at that score if that doesn't.
I mean, I'm on NFL Vegas odds, Vegas
Are you
Insider,
sure those are the real odds, my dude?
but yeah,
What?
I mean,
Take that bet. If you're one to cover scores, go take that bet.
I've got to double check that.
That's
Oh,
insane.
nope, I'm sorry, that is incorrect. It is not. Denver is -3. Okay, I was looking at the wrong.
All right.
Whew, I was about to say, there's no way that is right. Who do you have this game, Denver or the Giants?
Obviously, I'm taking Denver. They
I'm
have
taking-
a good QB. They have a
I'm
great
taking Denver as well.
defense. There's not a lot of question marks with Denver. There's not a lot of upside, but they're not in a hole like Giants are.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting. I want to see what this running game looks like for Denver. I want to see how much usage Javonte Williams has. I would start Melvin Gordon. I would start Sutton. I would start Judy. Are you starting Fant? He's been kind of, you know, dinged up in practice a bit.
I'm starting Sutton. I'm starting
Judy, how about Fant?
Judy. I'm starting Phantom.
If you
Yeah,
have another tight
starting.
end
I
option,
mean,
I would
I'm not
definitely use it.
expecting big things from that Noah Fant, but you can't bench him. He's almost a must start. He's there's not a lot of great tight ends, and he is that pass catcher. He's not a blocking tight end. So he's definitely going to be used that way. And with Sutton being beat up, he could, be that target number 2.
I would play Gordon. I would not play Javonte Williams. I don't know what his role is going to look like. I don't want to rely on a guess. I want to wait to see what it is because I think Melvin Gordon is going to have a bigger role than everybody thinks. Jump on this defense. I want to play this defense. They have the Giants this week and Jacksonville next week. So if they're out on your waiver wire, go pick them up. Always plan ahead when you're picking up waivers. Check their schedules when it comes to defenses as well. On the Giants side of the ball, I don't want to play Saquon Barkley, but if you drafted him, you have to. Other than that, is there anyone you want to play on this Giants football team?
No, not at all.
If you had to pick a receiver because Kenny Gallaudet might be out, are you Sterling Shepard or Darius Slayton?
I'm glad I thought you were going to say Kadarius Toney. I'm like, knock it off. Yeah,
No.
I don't know why Darius Slayton's going over Kadarius Toney. I'm actually pretty high on Kadarius Toney. I think he could still finish as the wide receiver 1 for the Giants. And if you're saying well, guess what? He was technically the number 4 wide receiver the last 2 years. He's put up over 800 freaking yards in 2 seasons each. As his rookie year, he had 700. As his sophomore year, he had 800. He is not a bad receiver, and he is kind of being slept on a little bit for that aspect. Because he's not even someone that's in someone who's in anyone's minds.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't play Shepard. I wouldn't play Slayton. I wouldn't play Toney. If you can find another option, I would. I wouldn't play anyone in the tight ends because, like I said, Evan Ingram is listed as out, so I don't want to play anyone there. So we're just going to move on to our next game. Chicago going into LA, going to play the Rams. Who do you have this game, Chicago or LA?
Well, that's a pretty good one, but I have LA.
46.5 over under. LA is a 7.5 point favorite.
Whoa, are they that?
I'm the Rams as well. I think this is
I
going
would
to
take
be.
the Bears to cover that, though.
That's interesting. I think this is going to be a 10 plus victory for the Rams. I just think Sean McVay, Matt Stafford, I think they're going to prove a point week 1 that this is a team to not mess with. So let's stick with the Rams here. Cooper, I guess Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, Darrell Henderson, Matthew Stafford, Tyler Higbee. Put them all in your lineups. I love them all this week.
Wait, let me speak for Ash. Well, don't forget to stick Van Jefferson in your lineup.
I would not play Van Jefferson. You don't need to. Especially, don't even play Deshaun Jackson. In a 16, 18 team league, I wouldn't even play Van Jefferson or Deshaun Jackson. So just play the
Almost done. Sorry.
Play the names, and other than that, how comfortable are you with Darrell Henderson with Sony Michel?
I'm pretty comfortable. I still think Sony Michel they need depth, man. Every team needs depth. The Sony Michel isn't going to be this, 50% back. He's just going to be that resting back, change of pace back. Where you got Darrell Henderson, you're probably putting him in as your flex, and don't question him if he's in your flex.
Nope. I'm fine with that play this week. I am a little scared of Sony Michel, so just be hesitant. I want to see what the roles are, what the percentage are on who's playing what and when. So that one's pretty interesting to me. On the Chicago side, you're playing Allen Robinson. Other than that, are you playing Darnell Mooney against this Rams defense?
Not against this Rams defense, but don't you worry. Darnell Mooney will have his weeks in my lineup.
This is the team that I am jumping on after week 1. Because you want to know who else is going to struggle that people might panic because they took in the second and third round? David Montgomery. Don't panic. He's going to struggle this game. You also have to play him. That's the only crappy part about it. You drafted him that high. You have to play him. You're playing Allen Robinson. Again, they're going to struggle. Allen Robinson's going to get enough targets to maybe he can salvage your day. I'm not playing Mooney. This Rams defense is legit. At tight end, I'm not playing Jimmy Graham. I'm not playing Cole Kmet. I don't even think Cole Kmet is healthy. So other than that, it's either Allen Robinson, David Montgomery. Keep an eye on how bad they are, and then try to jump on them in your leagues. You might be able to steal some people. Ash just wants to prove a point that he never would start Van Jefferson, but he does think he's going to have 100 targets. So at least we're clear on that. It's kind of
he's updating us with the whole podcast.
Yeah, that one's pretty interesting. A game I want to see as well. Green Bay in New Orleans. The game's in Jacksonville, so this is a away game for both. 50 over under with Green Bay a 3.5 point favorite. Let's start with Green Bay. Obviously, you're playing Rodgers, you're playing Aaron Jones, you're playing Adams. Are you playing any other wide receiver? Allen Lazard, Marquez Valdez-Scantling?
No, I think they're going to try to kind of take away from those. I mean, MVS is just that deep shot guy. He's not a target hog. We know that. Then with Allen Lazard now, you have Amari Rodgers kind of trying to take over that role and get acclimated. So I think he takes away targets from him, leaving them all three irrelevant.
Now, I know you're the ugly one of the podcast, but is there a reason why you were sitting in the dark?
Because it got night and my power just went out in my entire living room.
Oh, all right.
If you want to talk for 30 seconds or something, say hi to the listeners, I'm gonna bring out a little lamp.
Well, yeah, you can do that because I'm gonna talk about some Green Bay a bit. I agree. Allen Lazard, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, I'm not interested in playing. I don't know who this wide receiver 2 is going to be, and in fact, it just might be Aaron Jones. So I love Aaron Jones. I can see him top 5 running back overall. Definitely top 5 this week. On the New Orleans side, you're playing Kamara. You're playing, obviously, Marquez Callaway the way he was drafted in redraft leagues with all the hype on that one preseason game. Jameis Winston is the starter, so that makes it more comfortable for Callaway. He's a gunslinger. They're going to be in this game. It could be a high-scoring game, so I'm not worried about that at all. I mean, other than that, I would be careful with this team. I don't like any of the tight ends. I don't want to play any of them in this game. I would play Winston if you have to. Taysom Hill is going to get a role, so don't think this is just Jameis Winston and that's it. They kept 4 quarterbacks on this roster, so even if Jameis Winston goes down, I don't think it's just going to be Taysom Hill that's just going to get the ball. I mean, you could see Taysom Hill in the tight end role as well. So just keep a lookout for that. Other than that, you could play Winston, you could play Callaway, you could play Kamara. That's about it. Let's move on to the next game. Monday night, Baltimore going in to Las Vegas, playing the Raiders. Caleb is not back yet, are you?
Yeah, I'm back.
Who do you like here, Baltimore or your Las Vegas Raiders? I almost liked it better in the dark, by the way.
Yeah, me too.
No. Keep it on. I was just saying you're ugly.
Out of my fucking noggin.
But who do you like? Baltimore, Vegas.
Oh, give me Vegas all day long, Raider Nation.
I'm just going to go the Baltimore Ravens. This one's going to be... But don't be surprised. I'm not... this is than people think. Let's start with the Ravens. You're playing Lamar. You're playing Andrews. I'm not playing any of the running backs. Are you? Tyson Williams, Lev Bell,
Well,
obviously.
that's a wait and see. You stash them, but they were
Yeah.
not costly towards you, and I'm sure you have a better start than them. So don't get
Losing
cute with it.
losing Gus, losing Dobbins. I love Mark Andrews more. I hate to say it, but I'm even coming around on Marquise Brown, Sammy
Let's go!
Watkins.
Yeah!
Both of them could play a role. I would play Marquise as a flex play. I would not play Watkins, even though it is week one narrative. He goes off on that. But other than that, I'm not playing any. I'm not playing any of their running backs. I don't trust them. It's going to be a lot more running backs used than people think. Let's go to the Vegas side.
Yeah, almost done.
Are you playing Josh Jacobs if you have a shot to sit him?
No, I don't want to sit him.
You would play Josh Jacobs?
No, he's definitely, been utilized throughout the past 2 years as a pretty consistent back. Excuse me. I understand last year, during the end of the year, he was very inconsistent, but he was also dealing with injuries. Still finished as a top 10 running back. So, most people right now are playing him as your flex. That is an incredible flex. I almost don't care the matchup.
Are you playing any of these wide receivers? Henry Ruggs, Brian Edwards? I'm sitting them both. I'm not playing
No,
them.
they're too late. They're not. Ruggs can always, in a desperate situation, Ruggs can always get you, 100 yards and 2 touchdowns on 2 catches. But that's a desperate situation. You got nothing else.
Yeah, I'm not doing anything. This is just going to be simple for me. Lamar, Andrews, and Waller. They're the only ones I'm playing. They're the only ones I'm comfortable with. This is going to be a fun game. Don't be surprised if the Raiders pull this out. Henry Ruggs could have a big day. I mean, it's the only weapon in the passing game for the wide receivers. So keep an eye out on that. Derek Carr is one of the most accurate deep ball throwers in the league. So, hey, maybe you could get a 60, 50-yard touchdown. I can see that there. That's going to break down, unless you have anything else you want to say about this game, that's going to break down our NFL Sunday preview. With one segment to go, we're going to end it with our Survivor picks of the week. Ash, or Caleb, are you in any Survivor leagues at all?
No, I need to join one. Is that league too late to join now?
I believe that league is too late to join,
Because I can
but
technically, join the Sunday. Darn it. I'm going to join that little $5 one then. So I'm not in any right now, but saw someone post one today and I wanted to join it.
if you had to join, what is the most, 100% confident pick with this week?
I actually have the opposite of that for you.
Okay, because we're gonna do 3 Survivor picks this week. So if you don't have that one, you can save one for another one.
Oh, I didn't know we are doing 3 of them. Give me. Sorry, who was Seahawks playing?
Seahawks are playing the Colts.
Titans?
Titans are playing Arizona.
Give me.
I'm going to start us off. I'm going to take the
Give me Green Bay.
49ers. All right, he's going to take Green Bay over New Orleans as his lock of the week. I'm taking the 49ers over Detroit, and Ash is taking the Rams over Chicago. Brain fart there. Those are our locks of the week. What is your one be careful with, could be sneaky Survivor pick of the week? I'm going to go with the Denver Broncos. I like Denver as well, so that's going to be my maybe if you have a Survivor pick. I'd be very comfortable.
Segment, then? What is the next pick? Because
It's lock, maybe, don't touch. Favorites that you don't like.
Oh, that's weird. I'm just gonna go with. I'm gonna go with Jacksonville against Houston Texans.
I like
this
that
is
one.
just a very deep league. Like, if you have 60, 70 players in the survivor pool and you know it's going to go to, let's say, week 13, 14, then go get that easy win where no one else is going to pick Jacksonville the rest of the season. Mm-hmm. So go pick Jacksonville, get that win now, and now you don't have to take out a stud team from your picks.
One thing I've learned from past Survivor pools where I'm eliminated by week 1 and week 2, don't try to save your teams. You have to get to those weeks to even have a shot to win. So don't be safe, or don't play. Try to play it safe. Get those locks. Advance. My one don't touch favorite is going to be Minnesota over Cincinnati. This is going to be an interesting game. I can see Cincinnati winning this, relying on the passing game of Joe Burrow, Joe Mixon, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd. That's going to be my favorite to not play in the survivor pool. Do you have one? If not, that's okay.
I don't, and I don't want to give bad advice, so I'm not going to say I have one.
Ash is saying don't touch the Chiefs. Upset alert. So that is his don't touch that he does not want to play. Caleb, it's our first live show.
It was good. I loved it.
Obviously, there was mistakes made. We're going to make mistakes. So if you don't want to listen to us because we're not perfect, you're not going to find one out there. So we're going to do our best.
Either. Let us know.
Right.
We're trying.
We're trying to grow. Listen to episode 1. Listen to the episode now. You can tell there's a big difference. We're learning as we go. We're having fun with it. Before we sign off, Caleb, any last words heading into week 1?
I'm ecstatic. No, dude, just ready for these games. I'll be on Twitter all Sunday. Freaking welcome to heaven.
Like I said, follow us on Twitter. I'm at Alex_Kerp, KERP 4489. Ash is at Fantasy LOT. Caleb, give a shout out.
Caleb LOTFF.
Once again, listeners, we're putting this podcast in your hands. We're leaving this up to you to help us grow. I don't care. Like I said, steal a phone, give it back, obviously. Go to YouTube, League of Tomorrow FF,
I don't care
subscribe.
If you give it back. Just
you have to give it back.
Make sure they subscribe.
You're right. Make sure they subscribe. Turn those notifications on. Help us get this podcast out there. Again, I'm Alex. You're Caleb. We miss you, Ash. He'll be back next week. We are the League of Tomorrow Fantasy Football Podcast, helping you with fantasy news today so you can win your leagues on
tomorrow.
Sunday.